Let's have a roll call. Brian?
Here.
James?
Present.
Bob? No.
Bill.
Bill, I'm sorry.
Bill's
Bill.
here.
Kathy's here.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. We have to approve the minutes of the September 12th, 2022 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look at those? And if so, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved.
So moved by Brian. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Bill. No, formerly known as Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, there you go.
My evil twin.
Yeah, 3-1 twin. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Old business, we have none.
Correct.
New business, first up is 771 Ottawa. Would you like to tell us about that?
Sure, yep, I can go ahead and do that. This is a special use permit request to allow a residential homestay in the R16 zoning district at 771 Ottawa. And so a residential homestay is defined, I've put the definition here, I'll go ahead and read it. It's any furnished residential structure wherein one limited term boarder, not to exceed 180 days, is allowed the use of an entire structure or portion of a structure and its grounds. No management or owner presence is required and no meals are served. In approval of a residential homestay, the city may consider impact on neighbors' parking needs, etc., and place additional requirements as deemed appropriate, and such business shall be registered with the city clerk as rental property. So really the goal of the residential homestay definition is to allow short-term rentals like an Airbnb or VRBO type of business. We know there's a few existing in town already, and so city has actively made the decision to not seek those out, but anyone who comes to, at this time, but anyone who comes to us looking to operate this type of business, this is the process to go through for approval for that. So residential homestays are allowed in the R16 zoning district with issuance of a special use permit. And the applicant purchased the home in August of 2021 and has intended that indicated they intend to use the property for short-term stays, focusing on the military and the hospital sector here in Leavenworth. Since they've purchased it, they've done quite a few renovation projects with the property. I listed them in here. They've replaced windows, installed a new deck, remodeled the kitchen and bathroom, and refinished the hardwood floors and installed new carpeting. So in recommending issuance of a special use permit, there are several findings that we have to go through, so I'll just go through those right now. The first is that the proposed special use complies with all applicable provisions of the ordinance. Staff does believe that that is the case with this. The second is that the proposed special use at the specified location will contribute to and promote the economic development, welfare, or convenience of the public. Short-term rentals do fill a need and convenience for the public by providing another lodging option for visitors to the community. In a lot of cities, existing residents also utilize short-term rentals. If they have something like a home renovation going on at their own property, they'll like to stay in a short-term rental while they've got that going on. So this absolutely fills a need in the community. The third is that the special use will not cause substantial injury to the value of other property in the neighborhood in which it's located. Staff does not feel that that would be the case with this proposed use. And number four is that the location and size of the special use and nature and intensity of the operation involved in or conducted in connection with it and the location of the site with respect to streets giving access to it are such that the special use will not dominate the immediate neighborhood so as to prevent development and use of neighboring property in accordance with the applicable zoning district regulations. So there's no new structures or construction proposed as part of this. It's an existing single-family home. It will continue to operate as an existing single-family home, just with short-term renters here instead of like a long-term 12-month lease, as might be the case for another property. So we did send notification to property owners within 200 feet, as is required by state statute. We had one inquiry from someone that was notified. Just wanted to kind of know what was going on, and when we explained that, they had no objection to the proposed use. So staff would recommend approval of the special use permit for a residential homestay at 771 Ottawa. I can answer any questions you might have, and we do have the owner here as well if you have questions for him.
Does anybody have any questions?
It's kind of like a B&B.
Yep, so like an Airbnb, like you would rent, so it's not, you know, like a bed and breakfast where there's an owner there preparing meals or providing, you know, linen service or anything. It's just, you've got access to the house for whatever your rental term is, and then the owner can let us know what his plans are, but typically there'll be like a cleaning service that comes in and turns it over for the next occupants.
That's not the biggest problem with a lot of B&Bs is people rent it and they have parties there, and so you say the neighbors are notified. So that's
yep, neighbors were notified, and you know any applicable noise regulations, anything like that would be, it'd be subject to those as well.
Is there a limit to the number of people?
So it's defined as one boarder, and so we would define that as one. We don't define the number of people, but it'd be one renter, so it'd be like a family unit. Something like that, so not multiple groups of people staying there. So legally, we can't really restrict the number of people that stay in a residence. But yeah, it's just one boarder.
How does this affect his ability to then just make this an outright rental property?
So we do require any residential rentals be registered with our city clerk's office as a rental property. That would be required for him as well. Just because even if he does get approval of the special use permit to have the residential homestay, he doesn't have to utilize that special use permit. So if he were to determine, hey, I'd rather just do a normal, 6-month or 12-month lease with this instead, he's still registered as a rental property with the city and could do that. He does not have to utilize that special use permit.
Does this contribute to the transient guest tax? These types of stays?
I believe so. That would be a question for the city clerk's office, but I believe they do. I'm not totally sure how the taxes are collected, but I believe that's the case.
Okay.
What was that again? I missed that.
The transient guest tax, that's a portion that we get for the hotels.
Yeah.
If it's kind of in that same category. Just don't know what taxes are.
Yeah, and that's actually a good question. I know when I've rented Airbnbs and stuff, there's that's kind of always figured into the fee. Right. So I assume that it is, but that'd be a question I could ask the city clerk and kind of let you guys know just for an FYI.
Utilities and all that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No, sir. Do I have a motion?
We do need to open the public hearing.
Okay,
see if there's anybody here.
Is there anybody here that would like to speak up? For or against? Seems like there's no one here. Now can I make a motion? Have a motion made?
Yep, close the public hearing.
Close public hearing, sorry. First time. Thank you.
It's a learning curve.
You're being graded, though.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I'm at F
No
already.
pressure, right?
No
We
pressure.
send this to Joe.
That's right.
Either way, you have to come back. So.
No matter what
Yeah.
your grade is, that's okay. We close the public hearing. Now, do I have a motion to approve this proposal?
Yep, so the motion would be, since this has to go to city commission, so the motion would be to either recommend approval or recommend denial to the city commission.
Or table?
Or to table it.
Yeah.
So
So I move that we have a recommendation for approval in this action.
Second.
I have a motion from Bill and a second and a tie with Kathy and Jim. So
Either one.
Either one. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay. I'll try to get it right this time. So, Julie, would you like to throw on your John Pony show?
okay, I will.
You got 4 screens,
I know everybody should be able to see.
That's right.
That takes a minute to catch up, but Okay, so the next item is a request for a final plat of Moonlight Lake replat. This property is owned by Tom and Jenny Duncan. The applicant is requesting approval of a replat of Lot 9 in the Moonlight Lake residential development. The property being replatted is just over 21 acres in size, and it does have an existing single-family home out there. It is zoned R125, which is low-density single-family residential. The replat's being requested in order to combine lots 1 and 9 of the platted Moonlight Lake subdivision. Our regulations do allow for simple lot combinations to be processed through an administrative process and not come to planning commission. With this one, there's been several iterations of kind of combining and moving lot lines around. And so after review by our staff and then the county staff actually requested that this come through as a formal plat. When you do sort of those administrative lot combinations, legal descriptions tend to get off, and so this is just sort of a more formal process. And if you will recall, with our updated development regulations that you just saw last month, that was a requirement that we changed in there too, that once a property has been involved in one administrative plat, a lot combination or a lot split, that then any further changes would have to come through a plat process. So that's basically what we're doing now, is just combining those existing two lots under the same ownership for the Duncans.
So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What was your question?
So they're picking up the lot to the south.
It's to the south.
Yeah.
This was the original plat, lot 1 and not lot 9. I don't have all of the different lot combinations that have been done up here, but there have been a couple, again, where they kind of changed the configuration of those lots. And so, again, this coming through the plat process is really just making sure it's clean, the legal's good, and so they've got what they need to just to have this property combined into one lot. So this is what we're left with now. It'll be known as Lot 9R in the Moonlight Lake subdivision. So staff has reviewed this. County surveyor and engineer have reviewed this, and staff does recommend approval of the replat. I can answer any questions you might have, and the owner, Mr. Duncan, is here as well.
Thank you.
I haven't read up on the subdivision ordinance yet, but I'm assuming that when you do plats, replats, it goes to the various departments for review in terms
Yep.
of all the
And
appropriate folks.
Yes, so any plat that comes in, whether it's a replat, new final plat, preliminary plat, whatever, comes in through our department, is sent over to Public Works for them to review. And then we also go ahead and send them over to the county for review. We like to go ahead and do that well ahead of recording. County tends to have quite a few comments, and so we like to get those back to the applicant so they have those before they're ready to give us a copy for recording. And like I said, that's kind of how this came up, was having it go over to the county. And since there had been so many changes with these lot lines, the county staff was, they were the ones who requested that it come through a plat process.
So I assume before it gets recorded, that little title up there that says administrative plat.
Yep, there's a couple.
away.
Yep, just a couple of minor things that we have notes on still
Yeah.
for the surveyor to change, and that was one of them.
anybody else? So now do I open it up to the,
So this doesn't require a public hearing, but you can ask if the applicant wants to make any comments.
does the applicant want to make any comments?
No, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
Well, you know what, it seemed pretty straightforward to me too, that's good. Okay, then we'll close that part, and do we have a motion to approve this replat to send on to, what do we
And this
send?
one's just an approval at the planning commission
Commission.
level, doesn't need to go on, so
Okay.
you're the final approval.
Okay, do I have a,
All right, so moved. I
Brian,
recommend
so
approval.
move.
I'll second it.
Kathy got it this time.
I'm trying.
You're doing
Trying to
good.
get
You gotta
it.
jump
You're
on it.
You're doing good. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Okay, so we have no other business tonight. We do have a number of items for our November meeting, so what's the date on that? The 7th. 7th?
Ooh, Alright.
So we will hopefully see at least 4 of you then.
Okay.
I'll be in a plane to Hawaii.
I think you had told us that you were gonna be out, so, and we'll
Me
send
too.
out.
Me too.
Hawaii.
We can all go with Kathy and just hold it in Hawaii.
I am now.
Yeah.
Can I get your luggage, Kathy?
So we'll get an email out, for attendance purposes and make sure we've got a quorum.
Okay, I should be here.
Okay. All right,
That's it.
Okay, do I have a motion to
close the meeting.
close the meeting? Yes.
You wanna get
Kathy
in?
approves. Second by
I'll second.
Brian.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
all those in favor, including the whole room, can say by aye.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Gotta get
Every-